2020 was almost 2 years ago at time of recording this video. Yes, that's right, that shit show that traumatized you, damaged you, used you like a fucking condom, and then just simply left but kept the shit show here. Yeah, that was almost 2 years ago. That's crazy to think about, isn't it? Well, I just got done disappointing a woman I care greatly for, so what better time than that to record a YouTube video? So buckle your fuckles, because tonight we're covering the 2020 Iceberg. Ye motherfucking haw. First up on the agony block, we have Donald Trump. Now, in 2016, in what has got to be the final visual representation of the abstract and abject failure of American democracy since fucking Nixon, Donald Trump was elected president, and it just kept getting worse from there. Now, you see, the thing with Donald Trump is that he's an unhinged idiot whose only special redeeming quality was pretending to be rich very successfully. It's really impressive when we manage to elect someone who not only got convicted by the Supreme Court of wrongfully evicting black families, but also bragged about sexually assaulting women. I don't care about the politics of well, I do care about the politics, but if you're gonna say some shit like that, spoiler, you probably shouldn't be in office. And 2020 was just so impressive. It was so incredible. Donald Trump had every boomer coming in their pants. Donald Trump had every slightly right-leaning person so impossibly erect. All he had to do in 2020 was to shut the fuck up and let Dr. Fauci do his work. And it would have been a cakewalk. We'd have Donald Trump 2020. Easy peasy. America's great. We're wearing the best masks, the biggest masks, the most masks. It's gorgeous. Masks. And instead, Mr. Teeny Weeny Peeny Weeny here decided I'm going to show everyone how big my dick is because COVID's only affecting Democrat states right now. And then... Oh no! COVID-19. Up next on the agony block, we have what directly led to Donald Trump's widespread downfall. Now, you see, in 2019, some guy in Wuhan, China was like, bad. And he didn't become Batman, no, he became deathly ill. And then it spread, and it kept spreading, and it kept spreading, and it kept spreading. And then it spread into your life, in the news, and then it spread into every aspect of your life, and it was all that was on the news. And then you were cut off. Maybe you had people in your house, maybe you didn't, but all there was pandemic. All there was COVID-19. Very bad for the mental psyche, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's terrible. COVID-19 is something that, personally, destroyed everything good in my life. Little junior me in high school, he had everything going for him. He had a girlfriend, he was section leader in band, marching band was gonna have its greatest season yet, and then came COVID. All the respect I had from my peers, well, when your peers don't have to see you every day, suddenly being the funny guy doesn't matter. When your girlfriend's isolated for long periods of time, she realizes she doesn't like dudes, so you're alone. And then marching band is completely destroyed, leaving you to spiral out uncontrollably. And this isn't exactly an uncommon story. This happened a lot. In a lot of different ways. People losing jobs, people losing family members, people losing everything. But hey, at least I get to be nihilistic about it. It makes me funny as fuck. Among Us. You were alive in 2020. Unless you're 1 year old, in which case, go back to Coco Melon, you fucking sex trophy chump. Among Us is a hit murder mystery game. You got one guy or gal or non-binary person who is murderer. They have to kill everybody and deceive everybody, and then if they succeed in that, they win. But if they don't, then everyone else wins. Very solid idea, right? Yep, so let's make it a hit game, and then boom, they did. There's a woman's hair wrapped around my ballsack, and it's insanely uncomfortable. Back on track. Now, To Among Us. It became insanely popular during 2020 despite being released years prior, mostly because of a few streamers playing it and then it entering the mainstream. It entered the mainstream the way that it did because everyone was isolated due to COVID-19 and Donald Trump's severe mishandling of the situation by handing the reins to his son-in-law. So yeah, Among Us, Zoom. Now, your boss or your teacher and just America in general, well, they need to see that big, gorgeous face of yours, even if you're in your home suffering from a severe depressive episode. So what better way to bring your agony right into everyone else's bedroom? Well, what if we just use those nifty little cameras that suppliers put on everything for some fucking reason, and made everyone just, use those to communicate? And then boom, you have Skype, but not bullshit. And there is Zoom. Zoom was the king of video conferencing and remains as such despite some very questionable business moves on their part. Wow, Zoom, you guys are really wilding out here. But yeah, you could see everyone else's face and hear their voice. It's like a phone call, but with more people. Isn't that cool? And they sell your data. The election. In the most shit-your-pants moment of American history, besides a few other times like dropping nuclear bombs on people or the Civil War itself, well, we decided, hey, do you want Hitler Jr. or Voldemort? Now, this is an extreme exaggeration of both of these presidential candidates, but you understand what I'm talking about here. The fact that we decided on, I'm Joe Biden and I supported segregation in the 70s. Or, I'm Donald Trump and I will sexually assault your sister if she's hot enough. As our presidential candidates, shows just how absolutely fucked America is. I really hope this YouTube deal works out and I can get filthy rich enough to just get the fuck out of here, because there's no point in trying to save this sinking bitch. The election was tight. It's still causing problems, and it will continue to cause problems because the American system is fundamentally broken and incapable of punishing anything because the Democratic Party refuses to do so, which will lead to the downfall of everything as we know it. Basically, Donald Trump lost. Not just a popular vote like he did last time, but also in the bullshit electoral college system, which supposits that, hey, land has the right to vote too, don't you know? And if you don't think that's bullshit, well, me and you disagree, but that's okay. So after Donald Trump lost this election, he went on and complained about it. I have the best numbers. I couldn't have lost. And then every one of his followers ate it the fuck up. And they're like, he has the best numbers. He couldn't have lost. And it just kept getting worse. We see people actively denying reality now, thinking there's some kind of, prosecuted person for not liking Joe Biden. Spoiler alert, none of us do. Nobody fucking likes him. He's almost as hated as the last idiot. And it also ultimately led to the January 6th riots, in which people were like, hey, what if we just disrupt the democratic process? They can't choose Joe Biden if we stop them. We're fucked! Tiger King. Look, I'll keep it real with you. I didn't fucking watch Tiger King. I don't really watch TV. I average, maybe one TV show and 2 movies a year. So, when everyone was freaking the fuck out, creaming their panties over this, I didn't really care. So I have no clue what it's about, besides Joe Exotic and tigers, and also how he became a convicted felon. I read the Wikipedia article, and that's about the most I could get from it. What's funny is that Season 1 was really boosted and put on this pedestal because of COVID, and Season 2 was not. It was not good at all. But that's not my issue, so those guys can have their fun with that. So yeah, Tiger King, great TV show. Did great because, COVID, Beirut blast. This is one of those things that, honestly, I completely forgot happened because there was just such a shit show in 2020. What do you get when you combine a warehouse full of ammonium nitrate and really bad luck? You get a fucking explosion. That's what Beirut was, completely decimating the city. Well, not completely, that's actually a major exaggeration, but exploding a very large portion of the city and leaving a very large number of people homeless. The Beirut blast was big splody thing that did big splody stuff. Brexit. Oh, you arrogant motherfuckers. Who's laughing now, Britain? Is America still fucked? Oh yeah, but we're taking you with us, you bitch. Brexit was Britain's suicide attempt. You see, Britain decided, hey, we want to just be Britain. No more European Union. In what has got to be the most remarkably short-sighted and fucking idiotic plan. Brexit fucked over a shit ton of British people. And what's great is that the British people voted for it. There's no bullshit where, land has votes like in America where they can say, hey, we didn't vote for this, all the fucking redneck yeehaw motherfuckers did. Nope, the people did. Oh, look at you now, Britain. Australian wildfires. Yep, we started off 2020 literally on fire, where large portions of Australia just burnt the fuck down, because Australia's dry as shit and a literal hellscape, and if it's a literal hellscape, it might as well be on fire like a literal hellscape, right? And now we're past all the very well common known stuff, and now we're gonna get into the unfun levels, so buckle your fuckles. It's time for level 2. Getting really unfun with it, we have the George Floyd murder. The George Floyd murder was an act of police brutality in which a police pinned a man down with their knees on his chest so that he was unable to breathe for 8 minutes. He died because of this. Why? A $20 bill. Yes, that's right. The cops did all of this over a $20 bill. This led, of course, to a lot of rioting, to a lot of protesting, to a lot of civil unrest. And I think it's unrest that needed to happen. The police get away with absolutely abominable things. The cops can do genuinely terrible things because they're cops. It takes more time to be a barber than to be a police officer. Because a barber is armed and wandering through society to protect us, right? Oh, wait. Police officers tend to be nothing more than the high school bully looking to pick on someone, or the kid who was bullied in high school looking to finally let it all out. Now, this isn't to say that there are no good cops, it's just to say that there's an overwhelming amount of bad cops, when the people who are supposed to protect you are distrusted by everyone. They're not doing their job, they are fundamentally failing. And I think that we need to bring genuine police reform. And it might have been caused by the George Floyd murder if we had protested a little bit harder. But, alas, we won't see it. And the George Floyd murder has now become another name in an incredibly long list. And unfortunately, just another statistic to a lot of people. It was a big deal during 2020, but now no one cares anymore, and I think that's legitimately shitty. World War III. World War III was mostly memeing, but you see, in the start of 2020, the US just fucking bombed a general. They just jaboinked that guy from the sky. Now, understandably, the country we did this to, I believe it was Afghanistan, was really not happy. They were like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? That is not funny. And there was, genuine threats of war. So people were like, uh-oh, World War III time. No, silly, that would have just been another Afghanistan war. Borat 2. Sacha Cohen Baron, I believe his name is, returned to the Borat series. You see, Borat 1 was this guy acting like, a man from the Middle East, or Kazakhstan specifically, I believe, just to expose the stupidity of America, and he did it again this time, but even better, even wackier, even weirder. Now, again, because I don't really watch movies, I didn't really watch this, but I have been meaning to watch it, and it'll probably be the second movie I see this year. Borat 2 was pretty fucking wild. Mans was out here talking about QAnon, and Mans was in here talking about gun control at gun protests. I'm pretty sure he almost got shot several times. Also had Rudy Giuliani, with someone who was pretending to be underage, and then he bursted in full drag and was like, "No, she's too young for you!" Yeah, it was interesting. Also, the whole Mike Pence bit, that's pretty infamous. Again, though, it's just kind of swept away in the oversaturation that we have in the world, so a lot of people don't really remember it, but I think that that was pretty good, pretty clever. We love to see god-tier satire like that in the world, especially in an era where satire is dying. You know how bad it is when a show, Veep specifically, has to stop because political satire is too hard? You know how fucked we are when that happens? Of course you do, but you're here on YouTube watching my channel to get away from that, aren't you? The vaccine. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now, with vaccines, there's normally a lot of bullshit in producing them. You see, we kind of have all of the ones that we already need, so Moneybags McCuck over here sees no need to give some of his precious dimes to poor little scientists so that they can make new ones. This normally means that with proper safety testing and a lot of other things, and reapplying constantly to keep your budget going, a vaccine generally takes 5 to 10 years to produce. But understandably, when Moneybags McGee over here is like, "Oh no, my stock market!" He's gonna throw all of his money at the problem. And when you throw all of the money at science, it works surprisingly well. And we had a once-in-a-generation unification of different companies and different groups to create something that could fix this problem. Now, was it perfect? Probably not. But the vaccine was incredible. Did it work, perfectly? Again, no. But the fact that we had something that fast that could help us was legitimately incredible. And then you know what happened? Donald Trump... No, actually, Donald Trump didn't really cause this one. His dumbass supporters in QAnon did. Because they're like, Bill Gates stole put 5G in you! And they just rolled with it. I genuinely don't understand why. Seriously, I don't understand why. And I spent too much time arguing on Twitter in 2020 about it. Another pen lore, I used to have Twitter, but I got suspended. So when I recreate the Another Pen Twitter account, the first tweet's just gonna be ban evasion. Dr. Fauci. Oh, this poor son of a bitch. Oh, this sorry motherfucker. Dr. Fauci is a man who was thrown into the very worst of it. He was sent straight to Brazil. Actually, no, he was sent somewhere far worse than Brazil, because Brazil is actually kind of a pretty cool place. No, he was sent to Antarctica. He was sent to No Bears Land. You see, he was tasked with, keeping a rein on things with the COVID outbreak. The problem was that the people above him couldn't have given less of a shit. You see, Dr. Fauci got to witness firsthand Donald Trump's fuckery, where Donald Trump's like, yeah, it's not a problem, it's only affecting Democrats. That's what they get for being liberals. And then suddenly, uh-oh, it's everywhere. But I've already said it's not that big of a deal, and if I back down now, I'm gonna look like a little bitch. So instead, I'm gonna kill hundreds of thousands of Americans, and everything you say, Dr. Fauci, will be ignored, and my followers will all think you're literally fucking Satan. I feel really bad for Dr. Fauci for even being in that position, because I would have killed everyone around me and then myself about 3 months in. Well, here we are. Level 3. A big boy. Impeachment. Now, normally, the flaws like these, where I don't understand what OP is trying to tell me, is on behalf of OP's part. But nope, this time it's Donald Trump's fault. This guy was the only two-pump chump to be, quite literally, a two-pump chump and get impeached twice. Both of these spanning from events and happening during 2020. The first impeachment of Donald Trump relates to, well, the fact that he was a little bit suspicious with how he used Ukraine and Russia to interfere with the 2016 election. Now, whether or not there's anything solid on this is a matter that many people find debatable, but I think that it's entirely plausible, especially considering Donald Trump's questionability and the number of scandals about it. The second impeachment of Donald Trump technically happened in 2021, just a week after his term ended, but it was caused during his incitement of the January 6 attacks, which is caused by him being a whiny little bitch baby about losing the presidential election, because, wah, me can't lose. Now, of course, the first impeachment It failed. The second impeachment, it failed. So if this guy hasn't keeled over and fucking died, he's probably gonna try and run again in 2024. Toilet paper. There's this thing I've heard of referenced about called the Chick-fil-A Index. See, Chick-fil-A being a cheap company, and that is describing them in polite terms, they don't open where they'd have to pay a lot in disaster insurance, which means insurance companies can scale how much they charge for disaster insurance in areas that are prone to disaster by how many Chick-fil-A's are in the area. No Chick-fil-A's in a very urban area? Bad. High insurance. Many Chick-fil-A's in urban area? Low. Toilet paper's kind of like that. You can tell how bad the pandemic's getting by how much toilet paper is left in stock, because for some fucking reason, everyone decided that the thing that they needed the most in the oncoming lockdown, the incoming apocalyptic level event that we were told we were going to be facing, was fucking toilet paper. You'd think, like, canned goods, bullets, guns, all of those saw a spike in sales, but not the same way toilet paper did. There was none. Companies had to start, like, producing more. They had to change how they made that shit. Because people just kept fucking buying it. I don't understand who needs to jack off that much that they have to buy 32 packages of toilet paper from Costco, but fuck you. Alright? You know how many times I had to wipe my ass with newspaper last year? You piece of shit. Kim Jong-Un dead? Ah, yes, our dearest leader of the world's most cartoon villainous nation, right above America, had a little bit of heart complications at the start of 2020, which led to a lot of questionable things, like people being down bad for his sister. What the fuck? But somehow Kim Jong-un miraculously survived the heart procedure that he had to go through and is still leading North Korea to this day. That or Kim Jong-un actually fucking died. North Korea's yet to admit it for fear of America dropping down and delivering some good old freedom! Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake is another one of those crushingly depressing ones on this list, which is another African-American man becoming the victim of police brutality. Now, there was a warrant out for this man's arrest, but that doesn't change the fact that he got shot multiple times when he, by all rights, should not have. It was an abuse of power regardless of Jacob Blake's moral character, and I find that absolutely reprehensible. And in the aftermath of all of this, we had the Kenosha unrest. Yeah, that Kenosha unrest. Which also led to the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Of course, with Kyle Rittenhouse, there's a lot of people who have a severe misunderstanding of that. And it's funny that Jacob Blake caused this, but I'm going to go into a tangent about it now. Before I decided that I wanted to work in a factory and be a YouTuber and author for a living, I actually wanted to be a politician and a lawyer. So I took law courses in high school to understand this, and the charges that were given to Kyle Rittenhouse were the wrong charges. Simply because of the fact that you can't prove Kyle Rittenhouse planned and targeted people who randomly attacked him. You can argue self-defense, and the lawyers did, and they won because of that. Now, was the judge in that case absolutely unprofessional and cocksucker? Oh, absolutely. But the prosecution went for the Pyrrhic victory the way that many Democrats often do in a stupid manner, which, to rag on my own party, they do that a lot. The charges to hit Mr. Rittenhouse with would have been manslaughter if you were dead set on seeing him go to jail, because you can undeniably prove self-defense, you can undeniably prove that he had no intent, but manslaughter is a charge that you can prove because you can't prove that Rittenhouse was in the right mindset to differentiate self-defense and someone approaching him. Anyway, that's that little tangent. On to the next one. 4 Seasons Total Landscaping. As Little Cheeto Man was desperately grabbing for the remaining millimeters of his penis after such a crushing defeat, he said he would be holding a press conference at the 4 Seasons. He meant the hotel, but the hotel told him, yeah, no. So instead, he said, find me a 4 Seasons, goddammit. And there was a 4 Seasons Total Landscaping located next to a sex shop. And that is where Donald Trump gave an actual speech. Kanye 2020. Kanye West is many things. Some people like to say he's a genius. I like to say that he's a fucking madman. And that is meant to be a mixed compliment. It's fucking hilarious with some of his goofy-ass lyrics sometimes. I personally love, "I love your titties because they prove I can focus on two things at once," or "Let me hit it raw like fuck the outcome. None of us would be here without come." Both by Kanye West, same song. Love that song. It's fucking hilarious. But Kanye 2020 was when Kanye West decided, "I'm gonna run for president," and then he did. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Kanye was thinking, or why he thought that would work, but hey, good for you, Kanye. Murder Hornets. Just to prove that The Simpsons predicts everything with a pandemic and riots and then murder hornets in the span of like 30 minutes, that is an actual Simpsons episode. Murder hornets was a thing in 2020 where Asian giant wasps found their way to America and they like killing shit, so murder hornets. Luckily, though, we've been trapping them with good efficiency, and they've been being fucking glibble-globbled up by the natural wildlife, so there's not too much of a problem with them for now, but we've got to make sure to keep killing those fuckers. Olympics cancelled. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics weren't exactly cancelled as much as they were delayed, but it's incredibly rare that we find the Olympics cancelled or delayed, especially considering the fact that the only time that this has happened in years prior is because of world wars. Anti-maskers. Oh boy. Here it is. Now, remember what I've been ranting about for the last however many minutes I've been ranting about it? I don't keep track of that as I'm recording. Well, you know, these are the people. These are the ones who did it. These are the fucking bozos who showed you just how stupid humanity can really be. You see, anti-maskers are the pinnacle of anti-intellectualism in America. How could these scientists possibly be right? I surely know more than them. No! But the argument with anti-maskers is simply, well, a mask can't stop particles from entering my mouth. So how does that protect me? So let me explain it this way. I am experiencing severe, creamy diarrhea. I am crouched over your face. Would you like me to shit on your face without underwear on or with underwear on? See, if I've got a set of Hanes on and that creamy shit comes out of my asshole, there's going to be little droplets on your face. Yeah, it's going to be pretty gnarly. But it's going to be a hell of a lot better than if I just full chocolate starfish right there, drop the gabagoo on your face. Of course, a mask doesn't stop everything, but it most certainly does help. But anti-maskers remain so impossibly convinced and arrogant that these dumb motherfuckers will kill themselves. I recommend checking out r/Herman Cain Award, simply because, you know, it's funny. All of these people are like, Bill Gates, I can't get sick, Jeebus crumbs, and then they die. It's suicide by anti-intellectualism, and it's impressive, and I am so desensitized to it that I often find myself laughing at these people's deaths. All you had to do was put on a little piece of fucking fabric. Trump COVID hospitalization. Oh boy, Twitter was wildin' when this one happened. Donald Trump, the guy's like, don't worry, it's no big deal, it's no big problem. He got sick. Of course he did. He was around a bunch of mouth-breathing buffoons known as the Republican Party, and he didn't have a mask on because he didn't believe in that shit. And Donald Trump almost won the Herman Cain Award. God, I really wish he did. That would have been fantastic. That would have been so wonderful. But no. Nope. He sure did not. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump was actually, like, injected with experimental super drugs. He was given some serious shit to, like, get him back up and on his feet. Because having the president die would be very bad, especially because it makes America look weak. And, you know, what is the warmongering, war criminal nation but strong? We can't be weak. But yeah, Donald Trump got sick. For whatever reason, Grim Reaper and God decided not to touch him. They just left him here. So, he got out of the hospital a few days later. But it was really funny when he did get hospitalized. And I know some people are probably going to watch this and be like, but you can't just laugh at his hospitalization. I can. I can laugh at his hospitalization. And I did. I don't give a shit. I'll do it again. Whitmer kidnapping plot. Yeah, another one of those that's just so fucking what the fuck that we all kind of just blocked it out for the pain it would cause. In 2020, 13 men were arrested by the FBI because they were plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Mrs. Whitmer. Why? Too liberal. Oh boy, now we're on to level 4. Deja vu, I've been in this place before. I hope you're ready to unlock memories that you purposefully buried because they were just simply too painful to confront. Kobe death. Kobe Bryant, in the early part of 2020, fucking died in a helicopter crash. I don't really watch a lot of sports, so the death wasn't that hurtful for me, but it was incredibly impactful and painful for the basketball community, and Kobe Bryant was, in general, a very positive effect on the world, and I think it's genuinely tragic that that kind of loss of life happened. There are many taste lists, well, if you miss when you say Kobe, it still counts now, jokes that I could make, but I won't. Chadwick death. Also, in 2020, Chadwick Boseman lost a long battle with cancer. Chadwick Boseman being an inspiration to millions of children worldwide with his role in the MCU as Black Panther. This is another genuinely tragic one that I'm going to do my best to be respectful with, simply because of the fact that, as a white guy, there was a million role models for me. I could pick anyone. But, you know, those little black kids, they don't have as many role models to look up to in sports and media and comic books and anything. There's a kind of white domination that existed in art for a long time. And now we're finally breaking out of that, but it's genuinely tragic to see these figures that young children look up to, like Kobe Bryant and Chadwick Boseman, dying. And, you know, it's just a really sad thing to think of, because, like, if Ewan McGregor had died as I was a child, or the hosts of Mythbusters had died as I was a child, I would have been fucking heartbroken. I would have been inconsolable. So, to all those kids who looked up to those two, I genuinely just feel bad. I hope those two rest in peace, and I hope that the good that they left in this world is still here. Stock market crash. Now, for the uninitiated, the stock market is just fancy gambling. Literally. When you invest in a company, you're saying, I bet this many stock of company, that company do good. When you short sell a company, you're saying, I bet this many stock that I don't own, that this company do bad. It's literally just horse race betting, really. But this made-up concept has come to dominate our lives, as rich people only give a shit about the economy rather than, anything meaningful like art or being a fucking human being. So we find the stock market just rising and rising and rising and rising in the stock market, and you've got to think about the economy when it comes to literally anything. And then in 2020, when suddenly, we can't keep the masses working, what's going to happen to the stock market? The economy's still going to be alright, right? Oh, shit! Yeah, the stock market crashed. And then we did it for fun with GameStop. Ukraine flight shot down. Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 was leaving Tehran, Iran, to return to Ukraine when that shit blew the fuck up. Yeah, it blew the fuck up. Now, Boeing's been having some interesting problems recently with plane reliability, but surprisingly, this was not Boeing's problem. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, it wasn't Boeing's problem. It wasn't the pilot's problem. Albeit, Iran did try to say that the engine exploded. What actually happened was that 2 missiles were thrown at this. Why? Great fucking question. What it's most likely is a retaliatory missile strike on U.S. positions after the killing of General Qasem Soleimani. So, remember earlier when I was talking about World War III? Wasn't an Afghanistan general, it was an Iranian general. My bad. But yeah, retaliation is nice. Fun fact, I don't care who or what you are or what you have. If you hurt someone for something not related to your battle, so with this, their response was to kill a bunch of innocent people. That is a virgin mindset. You need to up your mindset. If you're going to take revenge, take it properly. Like, kill a U.S. general, not just, oh no, we hurt innocent civilians! You kill a U.S. general, that makes you look super cool, and nobody's like, yeah, they're fucking villainous. But hey, I'm not in charge, so that's not my fucking problem. Goya beans. Oh boy. Donald Trump's presidency was such a divisive one that it made fucking beans a political statement. See, Donald Trump rolled out an executive order that was supposed to help out Hispanic Americans with easier access to education and a few other things, and, you know, he considered it a massive win when the owner of Goya, a Hispanic foods brand, was like, hey, I'll appear at this. A little bit weird, but alright. So, this man shows up at the initiative, you know, when Donald Trump signs a whole thing. Donald Trump has a can of Goya beans on the fucking White House table. And then, you know, people dislike Donald Trump so much, and it's valid, that they just start throwing away Goya products. They won't have it. In response, conservatives started buying Goya products. America, we love beans! Yeah, you know, that kind of shit. So, yeah, beans are now political. Walter Reed drive-by. While Donald Trump was in the hospital and half of us were praying for his death, well, Donald Trump decided, hey, all of my loving fans need to know that I am still narcissistic. So he hopped in a car with some Secret Service agents and, did a little drive-by. Now, he did have a mask on in this, which was impressively responsible of him. The problem was just that even with the mask on, while you're infected with COVID, maybe you shouldn't be around a bunch of people just so you don't infect them. It was incredibly irresponsible on his part. And if he wanted to say, hey, I'm good, I'm doing good, and I'll be back with you guys soon, he could have done it in a lot better ways than hopping in a confined space with healthy men and, driving. Oh, God, of course this one's on the 2020 Iceberg. You ain't black. Joe Biden, the expert in blackness, boldly stated, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. God. The 2020 election defines quite a few things. The utter failure of American democracy and the fact that we are rapidly backsliding and that you had better either be prepared to fight for your fucking life or flee the nation here in the coming decades. Also the fact that the way that a lot of conservative politicians work is by taking advantage of hardworking people and then simply refusing to do anything. Democracy is based around compromise, and the Democratic Party foolishly thinks that the Republican Party will do the same. So the Republican politician says, meet me in the middle. And the Democrat steps forward and the Republican politician steps back and says, meet me in the middle. So now what we have is a political party full of people who are, you know, if you disagree with hunting homeless people for sport, you're a fucking commie! And then we have a center-right Democratic Party that's supposed to be the liberals, leading to stagnation of American democracy and the fact that nobody is satisfied. God, I hate Joe Biden so fucking much. I hate him almost as much as I hate the QAnon absolute fucking idiots. There's a lot of hatred there, and normally I don't do hatred. Hatred isn't worth the time or the energy, but I have to, like, actively dissociate the fact that Joe Biden is in charge. I just have to, like, dissociate the fact that I even live in a complex society. Because this shit sucks, man. But hey, at least I get to make YouTube videos. Hurricane names. The 2020 hurricane season was by far one of the most costliest on record, and also had the record for the most named tropical storms and hurricanes, which is 30. This is impressive and terrifying, which is why I'm glad I live on the western side of the nation. I have to worry about California maybe shaking a little bit sometimes, and besides that, it's not my problem. Civil War memes. Because of how divided the nation has become, we are most certainly on track for yet another civil war. And what do we do in this modern era? We make fun of it. We mock it. That shit is hilarious. And it is. We burnt down Georgia once. We can do it again. I personally became an avid member of r/Sherman posting, which is Civil War memes. And, you know, boy oh boy, can I just not wait to see the Civil War happen. Lafayette Square photo op. Oh boy. There was, of course, a lot of protesting last year, some of this taking place in Washington, D.C. And what did our Lord and Savior Cheeto dipshit decide to do? Well, he decided to have the protesters tear-gassed out and then go take photos with the Bible being held upside down in a church. Now, I could really get into the theology of this because in a desperate attempt to find some sort of solace in God when I was younger, I religiously, pun intended, studied theology. And there is a lot wrong with this in theology, but I think this just plays into Christian hypocrisy, so I'm just going to let that stand. Inject disinfectant. And what has got to be the stupidest fucking chain of words ever strung together by a U.S. government official, Donald Trump, during a coronavirus briefing, was spitballing. He was suggesting ideas. You know, UV light kills COVID. Can we get UV light inside the body, like super deep in there? Can we penetrate all the way? Well, the answer to that is no, and it probably wouldn't be very good if you did. And then he followed it up with, well, I mean, in disinfectant, it really knocks that shit out. We should be injecting that. We should look into that. Now, of course, this is slightly misconstrued because he said we should look into some form of that because it really does a number. But his dumbass supporters then decided, let's inject Clorox. And there was some problems with that. Great job, everybody. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death. Now, Republicans, the politicians, this is, have had one foolproof plan for quite some time. Pack the Supreme Court with as many conservative justices as possible, and then whoopsie-daisy, suddenly, well, now everything's conservative rule. Of course, this started a while back, but a big example of this was when a justice died at the end of Barack Obama's term, and Barack Obama tried to elect a justice, and the Senate said, suck my dick, we're not going to do it. Now, Obama made the stupidest decision in history, and I say this with love for Obama. He decided, well, they go low, we go high. I'll leave my nomination on their desks and let that do all the speaking. That was a stupid-ass decision, Obama. You should have just put a fucking justice in office because you have the constitutional right to just choose whoever the fuck you want if the Senate won't decide. But anyway, so you'd think conservatives would follow their rules, their own rules. They said, we're not going to let a president choose so soon into the, so far into the presidential term and so soon to a new president being in because that's not the will of the people. And then they let Trump choose it. And then at the end of Trump's term, well, her corpse wasn't even cold, and the conservatives were like, holy fucking shit, we've got to go! Start playing the dream music! We need to go fast! Get one in there right now! And then, yeah, that happened. Corruption! It's nice. Pentagon UFO Release. Amidst all the chaos of 2020, the Pentagon admitted, yeah, you know those unidentified flying objects that have been spotted around for decades that we have vehemently denied even exist? Well, they do exist, and we kind of don't know what the fuck is going on there. So that's definitely very interesting. Very overlooked, though. A lot of people didn't really notice or didn't really care, and now you have everyone and their mother talking about, holy shit, the Pentagon's like UFOs are a thing in 2020, what the fuck? So yeah, whatever UFOs are, I don't know. It might just be me going to your mother's house. Michigan Capitol storming. In May of 2020, protesters were like, well, we can't stay in our homes for 2 fucking weeks because of a little virus. Let's storm the Capitol. And then they did. They stormed the capital of their state in what is best described as extremely active foreshadowing. What heavy-handed asshat college student storytelling writer ass did they hand over the script to Earth to? Why? What is a new writing team doing? Close to zero. The chant of every Donald Trump-loving, gonna kill themselves with coronavirus, morbidly obese, dumbass Deep South resident, close to zero is the phrase often bantied about the COVID mortality rate. Close to zero, but it's killed more people than AIDS did in 40 years. So, make of that what you will. Friday, March 13th, 2020. This is the day that national emergency was declared due to coronavirus, the day that many things shut down, and the day that many people, including themselves, were suddenly having a nice little break from school. Oh, how that evolved. 1920 and 1820 had massive disease outbreaks. So did 1720 and 1420, I believe. Basically, diseases tend to strike during 20 for whatever reason. Once in a century. So I guess we should have seen this shit coming. Ebola Resurgence. Finishing off this level pretty strong, we have the temporary resurgence of Ebola in 2020, just to add a little bit of blood to the shit that was already in your pants that year. The whole Ebola thing started affecting Africa again. And for those of you who don't know what Ebola is, wow, you're young. Ebola is basically a virus that makes you bleed out of every orifice until you die. Fun stuff. Exactly what we needed to come back during 2020. Luckily, it's kind of under control now, so we really shouldn't have any more problems with it. But hopefully there's not some kind of super Ebola that leads to some quasi-apocalypse. Or maybe there will be. Who knows? But hopefully not. Well, here we are, on the last level. Level 6. Isn't it endearing? No, it isn't. Let's finish this! Every COVID case is personalized. Jesus fucking Christ. It's been almost a year since I've last seen that unfunny joke used on an iceberg chart. Just kidding. OP put a lot of time and care into this, so I appreciate the original poster whose username, will be on screen now. Go give them Reddit karma. Genuinely, it's good work, but that's just not a good joke. Every iceberg has it. Every COVID case is personalized. That's right, Bill Gates came to everyone's house and slipped his dick in your ass and left a little piece of unique semen in it, just so that way you have, unique 5G. I don't know, what the fuck am I supposed to work with this year? TikTok Holocaust trend. Oh boy. Oh boy. TikTok is the epicenter of some really stupid shit. The forefront of humanity's arrogance, stupidity, and dumb-ass rich white kids given access to other dumb-ass rich white kids who will all group together in what's best described as a social media circle jerk. If you're not watching underage girls do sexually suggestive dances, you're probably watching something hilariously unfunny, and the best interpretation of TikTok is sifting through literal hours of meaningless, mindless garbage to, find something good. And this isn't to rag on the creators, except it is, because a lot of people create things without understanding the process of creation. Not to be snobbish or gatekeepy, but, twerking isn't as much as art as you'd like to believe it is, Trisha. The TikTok Holocaust trend was just a prime example of stupidity. It was a few TikTokers getting into makeup and then pretending to be victims of the Holocaust in heaven, which is not only insensitive and, really kind of mildly anti-Semitic, it's just stupid. It doesn't get any views besides outrage clicks. It doesn't do any good for your reputation. Now your daddy can't get you into UCLA or Berkeley or anything like that because those colleges won't take you anymore. Oh no. Now, of course, with the TikTok Holocaust trend, there's also the double side in that the media likes to falsely pick on the younger generation simply for being younger. It's a dumbass bullshit cycle that I really would have thought that the millennials broke out of, but nope, I guess those 30-year-old fucks are still letting it happen, you fucking pricks. The TikTok Holocaust trend was, in part, massively blown up the same way eating Tide Pods was blown up. Only a few people did it, and then suddenly, the media saw it, and then suddenly, holy shit, every teenager is doing this, what the fuck? 1,947,000 307 COVID deaths. That's a number that's probably a little bit hard to grasp. You know how much space a room full of people is? A room full of everyone you've ever known, everyone you've ever had a solid conversation with, is probably only 500. This is almost exponentially above that. It is, to an extent. That's how many people died. It's sobering, but it happens. Death comes for us all. And then, of course, there's those insensitive fucks who are like, curb your enthusiasm. I don't believe in this, you bitch. Now, of course, these insensitive fucks are a lot of this statistic. This isn't American deaths. No, I'm pretty sure this statistic is worldwide. American deaths just recently passed 700,000 in a depressing milestone that the media is choosing to ignore for whatever reason. I don't really know. I don't really watch the news anymore. I just kept getting angry after 2020. Scarily angry. So I decided, hey, either I could become a domestic terrorist or I could become a YouTuber. So I stopped watching news, and YouTube it is. And I stay away from news. For this reason, imagine. Do you want a bunch of out-of-touch, asshole celebrities poorly covering a song in their multi-million-dollar mansions about how fucking bored they are? No! Surprise, surprise, nobody did, but they did it anyways. Yes, a group of celebrities covered the song Imagine during the 2020 pandemic, and honestly, this isn't even really the worst thing that celebrities did during lockdown. I know there was a few celebrities who were just, like, sobbing about how bored they are. Like, bitch, you own over $1 million bills. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Why are you crying? Shut the fuck up, you stupid whore. So yeah, that's the last entry of this iceberg. First presidential debate. I'm just gonna let this one speak for itself.
Will you shut up, man? Listen,
And we did it. That is all of the 2020 iceberg covered. I hope that didn't put you into existential dread or a panic attack the same way 2020 did to all of us, but it probably did. So look on the bright side. At the time that I'm making this was almost 2 years ago. And because of the immortality that videos have on YouTube, you could be seeing this in 2025. Or if YouTube lasts that long, 2032. Isn't that crazy? And also, we're like less than a month away from 2022. Think of that. Yeah, that's an unfun thought, isn't it? Anyway, if you made it this far, I'd like to take a second to genuinely thank you for watching this far into my video. You know, I make these videos because I love making them, but it means the world to me that I have people that will actually watch and appreciate my content, and I'm grateful for it every day that I wake up, so thank you for that. If you're new here, I'm going to go ahead and ask you subscribe. You're clearly mildly bored. I'm clearly mildly entertaining. It's a win-win situation. You can just go ahead and click that little button down below. Now, without further ado, I'm going to stop bullying you. I'm going to stop annoying you. I'm just going to shut the fuck up. Y'all have a wonderful time. Until next time, memento mori.